Hello everyone, I am going to discuss with the topic that is Namoted Cod non-habit, that is the principle or the rule of transfer of a title. So though there is a provisions that no one can give the better title than he himself has, but still there is an exception is there. So in my last video I have discussed about the exceptions, that is two exceptions I have already discussed, that is transfer of a sale, that is by an unauthorized sale by a mercantile agent it is possible, and second exceptions we discussed, that is a transfer of title by a principle of estoppel. So that was a very important exceptions we have discussed, but today I am going to the detail provisions of the exceptions, that we are having a altogether 8 exceptions we are having, and the rest of the exceptions I am going to discuss today. So without wasting a time, let's begin with the topic today. So the third exception is sale by a joint owner. So the last we have discussed in section 27, but today we are discussing section 28. So what's section 28 of the sale of goods sector describe? So we will see the next provisions. So if one of the several joint owners of goods has the sole possession of them by permission of the co-owners, the property in the goods is transferred to any person who buys them from such joint owner in good faith without notice of the fact that the seller has no authority to sell. So provision says that one of several joint owners, that means there might have been having a 4 owners, that is jointly they are owning that property, so they are called as a joint owners. Several means maybe 4 or 5 or any number, but among them one of them having the sole possessions, one of them were holding the property in the goods, that is ownership in the goods he is having is right. So with the permission of the other members or other co-owners, so property in the goods is transferred. So you can transfer the ownership to the any person who buys them from such joint owners in good faith. They can transfer it. The ownership can be transferred to any person who will purchase it in good faith. That is important word is a good faith. That means he is having a trust, full trust with them, confidence with them. So without notice of the fact that the seller had no authority to sell. So he doesn't have any information, any knowledge, no awareness that this seller who is going to sell it, he doesn't have the authority to sell. So that is why it is to be noted here that in absence of this provision, the buyer would have obtained only the title of that co-owners and would have become merely a co-owner with the other co-owners. So it is little critically it says that if there is no provision of this, then the buyer would have obtained only the title of the co-owners. So he would have get the ownership, that is a title to the property was with the co-owner. So he would have get it because he is the purchaser. He would have get it as a co-owners and would have become merely a co-owner with other co-owners. So he would have been the co-owners with the other rest of the co-owners. So he can be one among the 4 co-owners or joint owners of the property. So hence the provisions constitute an exceptions. That's why we said it is an exception to the rule that no one can give what he has not got. So this is the exceptions. Sale can be made by a joint owner. But this is the provisions the section 28 has laid down under the Sale of Goods Act. And it is very importantly they have given a liberal view on it, how to make a bona fide purchasers can be a owner of the property. Now let's clearing this point with one illustrations. Suppose A, B and C, there are 3 brothers were there. They own a cow in common. So 3 of them having one cow in commonly, they jointly having it one. So B and C entrusted the work of looking after the cow to A and leave the cow in A's possessions. So B and C, what is that? He said you will look after, give it to A and say that you will be in possession of this cow and you looked after the cow. So A sells the cow to D. So he was holding the possession. That's why he would have having a right to sell it to anybody. So he sold it to D, and D, like purchases the bona fide for value. So if D has purchased the cow bona fide for value, that means he has paid the consideration and it is a bona fide one. So because it's a genuinely he has purchased, so definitely he will get the good title to the cow. So this is, you have seen how you can be a, like have the authority to sell the goods, though you are a joint owners. The very important point to be noted here is the noticeable that the owner must be in possession of the goods. Then you can, transfer the property or transfer the goods to the anybody else. Now let's go to, exceptions number 4. Sale by person in possession under voidable contract. Now again we have to go back to the provisions of the voidable one. So I hope that you know about what is voidable. Voidable means the the party who is accepting the goods, he will have two options. One will be he can affirm the transaction, or he can cancel it. This is under as per the voidable contract we have to discuss. So this two option is given to him. Either he will accept and he will reject it. That's the meaning of the voidable one. So section 29 we said. So section 29 of the act, what it lays down, we will see the law point. When a person has obtained possession of goods under a voidable contract and he sells those goods before the contract has been rescinded, the buyer of such goods acquires a good title to them, provided the buyer acts in good faith and without notice of the seller's defect of title. So 29 says, when a person has obtained possession of the goods under a voidable contract. So contract itself is a voidable one, and sells those goods before the contract has been rescinded. So two options I have already said. One, you can cancel it, and one, you can accept it. Suppose, so he has sold the goods, but the contract, before the contract has been rescinded, that is before the contract was cancelled, he has sold it to the anybody, any purchasers. So that buyer of such goods acquires a good title to them. So that buyer will get a good title to them. That means he will become an owner of the goods. That is a good one, provided the buyer acts in good faith. He must be acted in a good faith, on trust or on confidence he have purchased from the seller, and without notice of the seller's defective title. So he was not having any informations, any knowledge of the defect of the title in the goods on the part of the seller. It was not noticeable. It should be there. Then and then it can be possible under a voidable contract. So let's see these one illustrations to clear the point over here. So illustration says, A by misrepresentation induces B to sell and deliver to him a cow. A sells the cow to C before B has rescinded the contract. C purchases the cow in good faith and without notice of the seller's defective title, C acquires a good title. This is the facts of the illustration. So this is A by misrepresentation. Representation is made it misleading it. So misrepresentations. Wrongly he had made a representation, and induced by this somebody has already persuaded it. So he have convinced it, that is B, to sell. So he sold it to B and deliver a cow. So by his misrepresentation, so B has accepted the goods, that is a cow. He purchased it, and A has delivered also. So A sells the cow to C. A sells the cow to C before B has rescinded the contract. Now question arises, A has already sold the car to C, right? cow to C before B has rescinded the contract. B has not cancelled the contract, and before that A sold the car to C. So C purchases the cow in good faith and without notice of the seller's defective title. C has purchased the cow in good faith. In trust, he has taken it and purchased the cow because, and he was not having anything, informations, any notice regarding the seller's defective title. So this is very well we are saying that defective title was, not aware about by the, purchaser C. Important thing is he should not have a notice, and B has, not cancelled the contract. Before that he has sold it. So that's why C acquires a good title. And C got a good title to the cow. So this is how the person can, under a voidable contract, can transfer the property in goods and he will get a better title to that. Is it clear now? Yes, let's go for the exceptions number 5. That is sale by seller in possession after sale. This is very important to be noticed here. That is after sale is made. You see that section 30 says that. Section 30 clause 1 says that. Where a seller, after having sold the goods, so already sold the goods, continues to be in possession, right? He continues to be in possession of the goods, and the clearing point, this is after sale. He got possession of the goods. So still he was having a possession of the goods with the seller or of the documents of titles to them. And he was having the documents of title, means ownership is also lies with him. And again sells or pledges them either himself or through a mercantile agent. He will convey a good title to the buyer or the pledgee provided the buyer or the pledgee acts in good faith and without notice of the previous sale. So he said that he has, after sale, he was having the continuing the possession or holding the possession of the goods, and as well as he was having a documents of title, that means ownership was with him, and again sales or pledges them either himself or through a market. So he sold it or pledges it, but he himself or he has appointed a mercantile agent for that. So he will convey. Then in that circumstances he can convey, means he can transfer a good title to the buyer or the pledgee. He can transfer good title to buyer or as well as the pledgee, provided the buyer or the pledgee acts in good faith and without notice of the previous sale. So buyer should not have any notice of previous transactions, or he might be in good faith or in trust. He might have purchased it. Then in that case you can transfer it, though you have not the title to it. So this is the exceptions, the 5th point of exceptions. Now clear this. Now we will go for 6th point of exceptions. 6 exceptions. So sale by buyer in possession after agreement to buy. So section 30, now subsection 2. It is sale by buyer in possession after agreement to buy. So before the last one we have seen sale by seller after having a possessions. After sale he was a possession. But this is regarding buyer in possessions, because buyer, that means he is having the possessions. He purchaser, and that's why he is having the possession with him. But after agreement to buy. So after agreement to buy, that is a transaction was only agreement to buy. So section 30 clause 2 or subsection 2, it says where a buyer has agreed to buy the goods and has obtained possession of the same or the documents of title to them with the consent of the seller, resells or pledges the goods either himself or through a mercantile agent. He will convey a good title to the buyer or the pledgee, provided the person receiving the goods, acts in good faith, and without notice of any lien or other right of the original seller in respect of those goods. Now, section 30, subsection 2 says, where a buyer has agreed to buy goods, he has agreed to buy goods, and that is why he has obtained possession of the same. He said, I am going to buy the goods, so let's give me the possession of the goods and documents of titles to the goods also, with the consent of the seller. So he was having, with the consent of the seller, documents of title is also with him, that is, ownership is also with him. Very important point is ownership is also with him. Possession is one important evidence, and second is the documents of titles. So both he was having. So that's why he has every authority and right. He can resell or pledges the goods. Either he himself can do it or through by a mercantile agent. He can do it because he is having everything. So he will convey a good title to the buyer or the pledgee. He can give the good title to the buyer or the pledgee also, provided the person receiving the goods acts in good faith. So who has received it, that means who is purchasing it, he must be acting in good faith. He should have a trust, and he might not have the notice of any lien or other right of the original seller in respect of those goods. So he might not have any notice, any knowledge, any information regarding that. The original seller, not this seller, the original seller was having a right over the goods. He was not aware about it. So let's clear this point with one illustration we'll give. So A buys some furniture and agrees to pay for that in 2 monthly installments. So A has purchased some furniture, and he said that I'm going to pay the consideration amount in 2 monthly installments. Monthly he is going to pay it as installments. The ownership to pass to him on payment of the second installment. So the ownership will passes to him, transfer to him after paying his second installments. Clear this? So having obtained possession of the furniture, A sells the furniture to B before paying. So that is why what he did it. So he has, paid only one installment. Second installment he is going to pay in the next month. But even though what he has done here, so he was having the possessions, that is his very good evidence he is having. Oh, I am having the possession, why I cannot do anything? So I am going to give it or make payment in the next month. So better I should use or exercise my authority, exercise my right or power over that. So that's why what he did it. So he sold the furniture to B before paying the second installments. So because this was the transaction is agreement to buy. So second installments he has not paid it, but he has sold it. So B buys the furniture, bona fide. He is bona fide, he was genuinely has purchased it. Subsequently, A does not pay the second installment, but he did not pay the second installment. The furniture dealer can't take back furniture from B, who obtains a good title to the same. The dealer can, of course, sue A for the breach of contract and claim damages. So this is the point is clear here now. He says, of course he has not paid a second installment. That is why he cannot disturb the buyer. He can only disturb the first buyer. Right? That is A. The dealer can ask compensation, or as well as he can say that you have made a breach of the contracts on this ground. So dealer of the furniture, he can ask compensation from A, because B obtained a good title to the goods, because he is a bona fide purchaser. For consideration he has paid. That's clear. So now next go to the exceptions number 7. Resale by an unpaid seller. This is unpaid sellers. We are going to discuss in my next video, that is unpaid seller. It's a landy topic also, and it's a very important topic. So section 54 subsection 3 says, where an unpaid seller who has exercised his right of lien or stoppage in transit, resells the goods. The subsequent buyer acquires a good title thereto as against the original buyer. Even though the resale may not be justified in the circumstances, that is, no notice of the resale has been given to the original buyer. Now, what this provision says, where an unpaid seller means who has not fully paid the consideration amount. Who has, so we are saying on unpaid seller, who has exercised his right of lien or stoppage in transit. So right of lien means he can still retain the possession with him and he can stop the goods in transit where it is in, carrying the goods in transmissions if it is there. So he can stop the goods. So he has a right to exercise this, right? So in that case, he resells the goods. Those right he has exercised, stop the goods not to be in transfer, not to be in transactions. So he has stopped the goods and resell the goods. He has resell also. Then in that situations, the subsequent buyer acquires a good title thereto as against the original buyer. So original buyer has been say that it is an unpaid seller means he has not make payment to the seller. So that is why the seller can stop that and can hold back and write back the right of lien he was having it. He can exercise it and he can give it to, or he can purchase to a new buyer. He can sold it to the new buyer. So that buyer will get a good title against the original buyer, even though the resale may not be justified in these circumstances. In these circumstances, actually you cannot go for a resale because you are on the ground called right of lien you're having an unstoppage in transit because you are an unpaid seller. You cannot exercise this, but no notice of the resale has been given to the original buyer. So there was notice was not given to the resale, given to the original buyer, not the subsequent buyer. So that is the provision said resell by an unpaid seller. If you are not giving any notice regarding the subsequent buyer to the original buyer, you can still go for it. A transfer of the title in the goods, you can go for it and the subsequent buyer can get a good title to the goods. Now last exception is, that is an exception under other acts, where you can be avail these provisions under any other acts. Like first exceptions we are saying in this case, the sale by finder of lost goods under certain circumstances. Finder of lost goods, he can sell it. Section 169. Next exceptions we can say, sale by pawnee or pledgee under certain circumstances.